This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Pablo Torre is going to join us here in a little bit, and I've got Bill Belichick. I'm going to put news in quote marks, but I'm going to ask you guys and Pablo some opinions on this because I do think it is news that for the first time that I've seen, Belichick is going out of his way to say something counter to Bob Kraft. The last few years of whatever their breakup was has Belichick being real quiet about how he feels about Kraft, while Kraft clearly makes a 10-part Apple documentary that makes it look like Belichick was to blame for everything that went wrong in New England. And Belichick has been quiet about that, but he's not anymore. He has done something that is, for him, I think, newsmaking. But the thing that I just read that I wanted to get to has a shocking fact in it that I really didn't know until I just read this story about LeBron James. The story about LeBron that reports that he hasn't had buyout or trade discussions with the Lakers and he expects to be with the team. And one of the sentences in that story says the following, and I really was caught off guard legitimately by the end of this. The Lakers have received no indication from James or his representatives that he would request a trade or ask to be bought out of the final year of his contract, which will be his 8th season with the Lakers, the longest consecutive stretch spent with one organization in his career. I can't believe that. Like, I'm reading it and I'm like, is that true? Oh, it is true. Oh, my God, he's been there 8 years. I read that sentence and I had to do a double take. I'm like, that cannot be right, that he's been with the Lakers more than he's been with Cleveland. Consecutively. No, I know, but I'm saying that I think of the start of his career as being longer than the time of what I think of his time with the Cavs at the start of his career trying to get to the finals as something that took longer than the time I think of him as a 5-year player with the Lakers. I don't know if it's the pandemic that screwed me up, but I do not think of him as that for the Lakers. 8 years is to have that be the longest tenure of his career. You could win some trivia games, I think, if you start asking people that question.
How about twice as long as he was with the Heat?
Yeah.
Like, that's another one, right?
Half the championships.
That's true.
Man, that is some quick homer math that Jeremy did there. The two of them just speaking the same language, like the two of them connecting eyes, finishing each other's sentences.
Yeah, but then it gets dicey because then you can say, well, it's a bubble title, right? So then do you take that championship away because then you also take away a finals appearance from the Heat. So what do you do in that instance, Zaz?
I don't do anything. The Heat didn't win it. What do I care?
I'm just saying. I mean, well, hold on a second.
You think I brag to people about the finals the Heat lost?
Well, I mean, yes, that's what we're holding up for Pat Riley finals appearance.
Game being the greatest night in sports history.
It was.
Okay. I'm glad we've resolved that. Pablo Torre finds out.
This guy doesn't know anything. His kids are running away from him.
Good card.
I may not let him.
That's not how running away works, buddy. Doesn't seem like you're exactly a disciplinarian here. You may not let him. The kid already went and bought a flight and bought tickets to an event in another state behind your back. You think he gives a shit when you say no? He doesn't respect you. Out of here. How's he going to get a hotel or a car? Is he traveling with another adult? Do you have a fake ID? Real tight ship you're on over there in the Zaslow Manor.
Apparently you can.
It's a mansion!
Zaz, apparently you can skate around Airbnb. Like, if you put the card down, apparently Airbnb is easier than hotels.
To be honest, I don't know the difference between a manor and a mansion. I don't know. Put it on the poll.
With Zaz's delusion.
At LeBatard Show, do you know the differences between a manor and a mansion? Let's bring in someone highfalutin that we keep around here in order to answer the highfalutin questions. Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre finds out he's trying to go from the podcast world of Manor to mansion with all the stories that he's doing. What is the difference between the two things? Do you know?
I think Manor is like Beauty and the Beast. It's where like the Beast lives. Mansion. I think Manor is ahead of Mansion. I think it's above Mansion. I think Mansion is, there are lots of mansions, Beverly Hills,
That Beast lived in a castle. This is crazy talk.
Yeah.
No, a manor is like an estate, I feel like. I think a manor entails more than merely the structure. It means that maybe you got like grounds to go pheasant hunting.
Mansion's the
Like a
best
dark
place you
wood?
could ever live. Everybody knows
No, please. Everybody who's well read, like me and Pablo, know that a manor is ideal.
Yep.
Bunch of illiterates around here.
Put it
Billy.
on the poll at Le Batard Show. What's better, mansion or manor? I think manor also has a royal connotation, does it
And
not?
hauntings.
Absolutely.
Also.
Yeah, so you guys seen Saltburn?
Yes.
We've talked about Saltburn, seen
I
of
mean,
it.
that tub is a manor's tub, not a mansion's tub. That is a manor's tub.
Mansion's gonna win that poll though.
Hell yeah, it is.
You want to bring up with Pablo Torre what it is that you were saying about how it is that he teased his latest episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out in a way that didn't make you think that he had done anything other than uncovered some guy named Moose on the internet?
You know, I thought maybe it was a short. I saw like a 5-minute clip. I was like, if this is it, but no. Apparently, there's a lot of layers of this onion to peel back. So Pablo, I will be checking it out later.
I don't believe you. You've said that twice. You keep saying that every time he comes on. None of you are listening to Pablo's podcast. It's obvious in your every comment.
I appreciate Chris very cowardly walking back, though, what he's already established earlier on the show. My sources close to this show have informed me of what Chris has said. Manor, I think we nailed it, personally. I can't really tell. It's very small text in this tiny Zoom
A
window. but I
large
feel like we
country
nailed
house
it.
with lands, the principal house
Lands.
of a landed estate.
So he's trying
Landed-
to promote you from a mansion to a manor.
I do nothing but try to
Yes.
set this guy up for success, but you can't help him get out of his own way.
A mansion is generally a large, luxurious house, often modern, and its primary focus is on size and opulence. I don't know what opulence means, but that sounds like a really good thing to have.
No. A mansion's for the poors. The poor's rich.
Yes. Lands. You want lands. You want gentry. You want landed gentry. You want people tilling your fields.
Opulence.
Mansions are new money. Manors are old money.
If you can't go
Yes.
pheasant hunting on your land, what do you want it for?
Yep. If you can't accidentally be cursed by a witch on your property somewhere, turning into a beast, not interested. What were we talking about?
She was a trespasser.
Angel, do me the favor, please, of putting together a T-shirt, lebatardaf.com, of Zaslow as he presently looks, shouting, "I want opulence." Pablo Torre Finds Out is the name of the podcast, and as I was
Oh,
saying
right.
earlier,
That. We're talking about me. Look, Chris is obviously wrong, but whatever. I don't need to belabor that point. The point here simply is that, you know who else wanted opulence? The characters in this episode. And there is no clip that can summarize the layers of this. It's people. I've been hardened by the way that people describe my own show to me, and you guys do it the most insultingly. But other things I've heard are along the true crime kind of style of podcasting, which is weird because what we're doing is like actual, again, not to, whatever. I'll be the guy who says we do journalism because we do journalism,
So
but
how
we
about
do
just-
it in
look,
a way
it's-
that unfurls like a true crime story. That's why you got to listen to the whole thing.
It's thorough storytelling that you're trying to give a click generation 30 seconds so that they
Yes.
come listen to you, but tell them why they should be interested in this story. For people who don't want to do deep dives, they don't want an hour of Malik Beasley. Tell them why this story's interesting.
So if you're a Heat homer like all of you guys are, number one, we reported first, and it turns out not exclusively, that Terry Rozier not cleared by the FBI investigation into legalized sports gambling throughout the NBA. That had not been out there. Tom Haberstroh helped us nail that down just for you guys in South Florida. Number two, turns out that there is a mystery that has befuddled the entirety of the NBA, which is how was it that a guy on Twitter months before, in January, months before Malik Beasley got named in this FBI probe in the Eastern District of New York's federal investigation, how is it that this guy predicted it? How did that happen? Nobody else knew it. How is it, furthermore, that that guy turns out to be a character that you may have interacted with on Twitter? If you're an NBA Twitter addict like me and Amin Elhassan and Tom Haberstroh, the three people on this episode, and it gets to Jonte Porter, it gets to Larsa Pippen, it gets to Carmelo Anthony, it gets to that Dante DiVincenzo 3, it gets to a notebook that has the word trap and 2 exclamation points on it that has rules for smoking weed inside Malik Beasley's house. It gets to something called the Parade of Homes in the Twin Cities, actually, where there is a parade, a tour to go and see the biggest, most opulent homes in the Twin Cities area that resulted in Malik Beasley pointing a rifle at a car full of people that helped uncover all of the story for us in the legal documents. So all of this is very germane to everything you're saying. And that's not even getting to the fact that, oh, by the way, I think we did an investigation that's more exhaustive than the literal FBI did.
It is a good investigation. I will call Pablo and a thing that he did dirty because there was like two seconds in the episode where I'm seeing a text exchange in which I'm seeing the iPhone and I see I'm assuming Pablo's iPhone. The source is just calling Malik Beasley a dumbass, and I'm like, that's not journalism. That's just an iPhone. That's just an iPhone and a text that Pablo got from somebody. And I believe his sources, and I believe he's credible, and I believe that Malik Beasley is indeed a dumbass, but that's cheap.
Well, this is the thing. This is why we attract via clip, and then we keep you with the honey of
not all
whatever.
of us.
Well, listen. The point is, when somebody texts me who knows really well the teammates, current and former of Malik Beasley, you're right, Dan. I shouldn't take that. And so at face value. And so what I did was I spent an hour getting to the bottom of it. It's kind of like the beginning, and we wouldn't publish that, of course, if it wasn't validated and justified, reported out in future minutes of that podcast. But Chris Cody just needs to know that I think this is a story about a lot of guys like Chris Cody that the NBA has no understanding of. And not only the NBA, but the government, the federal government tasked with investigating all of this, they don't understand how the sausage gets made when it comes to the world of legalized sports betting either. And it's a remarkable thing to see that, wait a minute, maybe the people we got to understand a very complicated story on its face is actually a lot of people that we've been tweeting with. It's been there the whole time.
Let me explain to the folks who want the details that are there. Go to Pablo Torre Finds Out, and you can get everything. It's more on Malik Beasley than you're getting anywhere else because the details are great. The Moose character who revealed this now regrets revealing this, correct? Regrets putting you guys on the case so that you can now find out who that was. And now this is a person who's telling people or thought he was telling people anonymously, I know things because he knew things, but now these are not things you want known by these people who are now, you're in crime. You're in the business of crime.
Well, listen, I always keep thinking, Dan, of that quote from The Big Short where they're investigating the guys at the ground level of the mortgage crisis. And one of the characters turns to the other and he asks him, why are they confessing? And the guy goes, they're not confessing, they're bragging. That is so much of this story. It's the story of meme coins and trying to raise money via private discords for something called National Coin Association with the NBA logo is like the parody thing for the coin. Yes, it is. It is my favorite thing, by the way. My favorite thing in this episode of the many things I love about this is that we had Tom Haberstroh knock on the front door, call up the guy, ask him, will you do an interview with Pablo Torre Finds Out? And the guy's like, yeah, I think I've heard of that show before. And they have a conversation in which he realizes at the point that Dan is describing, I have made an enormous mistake. And you see it, you hear it. It's just rare. Again, that's the true crime aspect of it, but journalism in real time. You hear someone regret opening the can of worms that will result in, yes, potentially actual legal consequences, real things in life. And it starts so stupid. My favorite things start so stupid, and they get serious and smart, but also funny the whole way through, but also darkly funny the whole way through. There is no better case study in that than this episode, I think.
So give me the top item to get people over there before I get to other subjects, including Bill Belichick. If I say the best dark funny thing that you have in there, it is blank.
Oh, my God. It's Tom Haberstroh trying to bro out with this guy immediately. Tom Haberstroh says, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday? Like he's trying to relate immediately. If you know Tom at all, it's just like, I love that. I just love that.
Okay, that's super inside and awkward, and it's dark funny to you because it's Haberstroh
so
trying
funny.
to do investigative work, and he's going to be clumsy at it.
But the best part is that he gets the goods. This awkward guy sidling up to you at the bar who's literally in this case, recording the call, having disclosed that, is trying to bro out with this dude. And it's so awkward, but you get everything. You click on the episode to hear everything is my point.
So funny, but not dark funny. The funniest thing in the episode is blank.
Oh my God. That we had a producer watch Medea's family reunion 5 times to search for Malik Beasley. And that detail pays off in a way that can only be described as relevant to the federal government. So there's that.
That's a good dismount.
5 times.
I'm in.
All right, I'm in on this.
And well, but this is consistent to what I would just tell people again and again, that if you're watching the phenomenon of what's happening with podcasts and where it is that intimate storytellers get in your head in a way that connects with things, because people still like to discern what's good and separate it from all the antiseptic that everyone else is making. What Pablo is making does deeper dives on things regularly than anyone in sports journalism is doing. And in this particular case, if I say the most interesting detail from this story that's going to end up being something that has consequences that we'll look back on years from now and say, that's what the gambling stuff did to sports back then. While we were clucking about Pete Rose, like that was the real stuff that was happening.
Yeah, it's that amid these incentives, these new incentives in which all these ways exist for people to have interests that diverge from their employers, players versus NBA teams, it turns out that we stumbled upon real evidence that the Jonte Porter scandal was underestimated by the federal government. That in their own reporting, in the FBI's research and investigation, we think they undershot it. We think it went deeper and earlier. And we have the way that this connects to Malik Beasley, to Terry Rozier. But really, it's the fact that even the government, I think, has some level of this wrong. I think they don't understand the scope of it. I don't think they're as fluent as Tom Haberstroh, Amin Elhassan, and me and NBA Twitter addicts than, frankly, the shipping container when it comes to knowing, when it comes to crypto, gambling, and basketball. These are 3 things that are so intertwined, and the government isn't internet, NBA Twitter brained enough to get it yet. But I think we have here at Meadowlark Media a bunch of people actually that might be.